Welcome to this channel where we explore all things mycology and so much more. From a single nucleus to cultures we create, experimentation and innovation is never too late. Join me on this adventure where follow science plays.
So here's our culture, and this is AYAK, and it was spawned January 30th. So I'm not really sure what the outcome is going to happen here. So let's dive in and take a look. You can see some of them twisted up and basically split their stems. And this is an albino, so it produces translucent spores. Things were going great in this tub, like really nice pin set, and I was doing a time lapse, and we ended up with some really cold weather, and so the temperature drop really affected them. And then once temperatures improved, there was a rapid expansion, so they really got lengthy really quick. And so basically I'm looking to get spores. We might take a clone out of that one, but I would really like to get spores. And I thought about letting it go longer, and maybe some of these caps will open up and I could probably do a spore print. But I'm also thinking this is just the first flush, and the more that I allow the growth to continue, the more moisture I'm losing out of my substrate. So I think if we did a squash mount of if we did a gill fragment squash mount, like take a piece of gill and add it to a slide, maybe we can see if there's spores. So let's pick a couple right there, so we can put aside. Yeah, see how it like just ripped them apart. All right, we got this character. So we got some gills right there, and we got a double cap. So we're going to try that one. So let's put these guys back. So now we got our gills. Let's set up our slide. Let's do 2 slides, just in case. We'll get them out ahead of time. So get my 70% isopropyl. We get some tools. I'm gonna sterilize a couple scalpels. Now that we got our scalpel sterilized, it's time to do our anti-static tweezers. So I'm gonna cut. I don't want to get any of that dirt, so I'm gonna try to cut back on my contaminants. So we just cut that. So 2 stems, 1 cap. And what my idea is, get some of those gill fragments, put them on our slide, do a squash mount, and see if we can see any of these translucent spores. And then if we do think we might be seeing them, we'll do another slide and we'll add stain to see if we can make them more visible. And depending on if we find spores, I got a few more ideas to do. So let's get our scalpel. Oh, that came out nice. So we're going to take, I'm just going to cut across them. And then I'm going to go in and like scoop a channel. So there's a bunch of gill fragments. Let's just get a clean cover slip. Line it up over our sample and then press down right in the center. And there is our sample. Right there. Let's add this to our microscope. So there's our sample. Let's add it to the microscope. I'm on my lowest objective and just trying to get the light centered on the sample. All right, let's zoom in. Oh, wow. Wow, that's millions of spores. These little caps are loaded. All right, let's go up an objective. Look at all those spores. Let's go in a little deeper. Oh, there we go. Look at that spore right in the middle. Don't even need to use dye. Look at them all. So we can do spore prints, and we can do some swabbing techniques. We can also do a spore drop where we hang a cap over a petri dish. Wow. They all got like that elliptical. And like some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller, it seems like. Like you can see like that one there is fatter than that one. But it's also like perspective, the way it's laying also. I've been really thinking about getting into phase contrast. I think that would kind of help out a lot with uh, translucent spores. So we got spores. So let's move on to the next. So we got a slide, and I was thinking maybe doing a spore print on a slide. This amazed me how the stems just blew apart. So I think this one would make a nice spore print. It's like deep conical, so it's kind of like some room inside it that's shaped like a dome, and that might keep enough humidity in there to allow these spores to drop. So we just need to remove the center of the stipe out of it without damaging those gills and creating them to oxidize faster. Be nice if you can just twist the cap off. Sometimes you get lucky with that. Not this one. Take one of our sterilized tweezers. Just get like this piece off. So I think that might leave a nice little spore print. So what we're going to do, they got another sanitized container. They got little lift tables in. So I'll set my slide, and then we're going to take our cap and set it on our slide. I'm going to get one more cap. This is a nice little cap. I think it's going to work good too. All right, so we got another clean cap. We'll set it on this side. So we got our caps on our slide, and all we're going to do is we're going to take a little drop of water, just dot the top, put a little water droplet on it, and that's it. And we put our top on. And we'll set that aside and check it later to see if there's any spores. So the next thing we're going to try is using a modified swab technique, and we'll see if we can get some spores and inoculate a few plates. These are regular Q-tips that have been sterilized using a pressure canner. These are some plates that I had from a recent pour that were heavily condensated, so I put some desiccant packs with it to draw out the moisture. So we're going to use those. We'll use the high and lows. We'll let that one continue to draw out the moisture. So let's go get us a swabbing mushroom. So what my idea is, we're going to get a Q-tip. Now we have our Q-tip. We got to make sure we're always handling it on one end. But if you look at the size of that cap and those gills and that Q-tip, if we try to go in there, dig in there and try to get spores, most likely we're going to get gill fragments and tissue. So what we can do, we can make our Q-tip smaller. So let's take and fluff some pieces up. So then that, like, teasing the end of it. Then hold it a little bit and twist it off. So now we have a piece of cotton that we can work in there and just touch the gills a little bit. Like the tweezers are not really even coming in contact. We're just touching the cotton and just picking it up and dabbing it. You know, turn it over. And then take our cotton. Actually, we're going to do this different so I can set it down. So I can hold it to you. And then we're just going to create a drag line. Dragging that cotton through the agar. And as we make the line, when you first start up at the top, you get more concentration of spores than you will when you get down to the bottom. So we got one plate. Let's do another plate. I want a better piece. There we go. Let's see if we can get some over here on this side. This way, we'll pick up the spores and not get any tissue. We're not rubbing it. We're just allowing it to come in contact with the surface of the gills. Because from our scope, we can see that they're loaded with spores. Trying to get more of the cotton inside the agar a little bit deeper. And there you go. So we got 2 grab and drags. And we'll see how it turns out. So on the last plate, we're going to do a clone. You know what? This is the one we're going to do our clone on, but I'm going to try to do a spore print on aluminum foil with that cap. So we're going to do a spore print on aluminum foil with that. Put that one on there. And now for our clone. Alrighty, so this was at the base. This is at the top. Top is kind of split. So let's go and lift and end up over here to expose that center. There we go. And then I'm going to just trim off a little of the extra that I don't need. Well, we'll just use that. And I'm just going to mark this with a C quick. Actually, there's a hidden experiment in here. So this is popcorn grain water. It's kind of a experiment that's hidden within inside all this, where I just use decanted popcorn grain water and agar and made two versions, a high and a low. And the only difference between the high and low is the high has nutritional yeast. So I was looking for something that wasn't going to set up as firm as my normal plates. So we'll see how it grows a culture and germinate spores. So thank you for joining me today. We got some spores on the agar. We got some spore prints down below. We checked for spores using our microscope, and now with what we know, we can adjust our grow. Once these germinate, we'll run it one more time and see how it responds without having the temperature drop that caused irradical growth in this fruiting. So I'm going to leave it here and see you on the next fruiting when we get some more spores and more. Thank you for joining me today. Please like, subscribe, so then you stay notified.